Okay, so now, I'm going to wait. 3, 2, perfect. Okay, now we are taking our knowledge of rational numbers. We are now applying our knowledge of opposites and absolute value to rational numbers. So just reminding you, opposites are same distance from 0 on the number line. So if I have positive 5 and I have negative 5, they should be the same distance from 0 on a number line. Then we have something that we learned about, and it's called absolute value, which is representing the distance that a number is from 0 on the number line. So what does that look like? It means that to get to negative 5, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. And then from 0 to positive 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. So my absolute value of negative 5 and positive 5 is just 5. Okay. So we understand that. Now we're going to use that knowledge to find the absolute value of the average low temperature in February, given the information in this chart or table. First thing we're going to do is we're going to graph our temperatures, and notice that this is a vertical number line. Why do you think we used a vertical number line to represent these decimal numbers? Jade. Yeah, it's like a thermometer number line, so it's vertical that way. So we're picturing it and visualizing it vertically. Okay, so we are going to list the 4 numbers in our table on that number line. So we're going to start with January, negative 10. Negative 10 is way down here. Then we have negative 8 and 5/10. Okay, I don't have an actual line for that, so where is it going to have to go? Kind of in between, yeah. So if I'm looking at negative 10 here, this is negative 9, this is negative 8, so it's going to go right between these 2 lines. This is negative 8 and 5/10. Then I keep going closer to 0. Now I want to plot negative 2 and 6/10. So it's going to be between which 2 integers? Palmer? Negative 2 and negative 3. It'll be a little bit closer to the negative 3, but it's kind of hard to get it exact on this tiny line. So I'm going to just do my best and say that this, say that this is negative 2 and 6/10. And then the last one that I want to plot is 16, which is the very top. Okay, now I want to complete my chart. And I want to fill in the information that I know. So the opposite of the February temperature is, everybody? 8 and 5/10. Okay, the absolute value of the February temperature.
Is 8
and 5/10 again. Good. How do I write the February temperature as a fraction? What does that look like as a fraction? Yes.
8 and 5 over 10.
8 and 5 over 10, but I could also write it as 8 and a half, but what am I missing?
Your negative sign.
My negative sign. So I could write it as either one of these, negative 8 and 5/10 or negative 8 and a half. I prefer negative 8 and a half, that reduced version. Start simplifying your fractions. Absolute value of the March temp. What would it be? 2 and 6/10. Okay, question.
It says February 10th as a fraction. Do we need to put the degrees sign, like the Fahrenheit sign like that?
Well, we're just writing the temps right now. We don't have to do like degrees Fahrenheit. We don't even know what it is, do we? Does it say Fahrenheit or Celsius on this? Yeah, so it's okay for right now. All right, the last part, this part's important. because I want you to understand why this is relevant, why it matters. So there's a sport that just started very recently. We had like a whole weekend of it.
Whiteboard.
Yeah. Okay, so when we talk about rational numbers in the real world, football yards involve rational numbers. Sea level. If you ever have a job or know anybody who does anything out in the sea, sea level is important. Above sea level, below sea level. Even if it's not in the sea. Above sea level is anything on the land for the most part, unless you're sinking, like parts of Louisiana are kind of sinking a little bit below. Okay.
Is Virginia
But we also have temperatures. We just had an example with temperatures. That's very relevant here in Oklahoma because we have crazy temperatures.
super cool?
We also have things like bank accounts, which should be relevant
Money.
because we all got to make money at some point to pay those bills and different things. Golf scores, if anybody's into golf. This can apply to a lot of different sports. It can apply to a lot more than just what we listed here in the real world. Okay, so now I want you guys with your table to go ahead and answer 1, 2, and 3. And I need y'all to have discussion about what you picked and why.
I picked B because X is on 54. Like I said, I picked the absolute value of 14.58. Okay, why B? It is 14.58. So most time I picked the absolute value of another number. It's only this. B.
No, look, that is called negative.
Wait, Miss Watson, weren't we supposed to bring our Chromebook today?
You didn't bring it?
No, I didn't.
I mean, that's
Red Robin. Number 1, on which number line below does point X represent the opposite of 54? A, very good. Okay, what is the absolute value of negative 14 and 5800ths, everybody? B. Which number could be the absolute value of another number? B. Because, everybody's going to write this down with me, because if I write, you write. Absolute value is always considered positive because it'll never have a negative sign. That's your giveaway that it's not going to be one of those other answer choices because they all have negatives. Absolute value, after you solve for the absolute value of a number, you're going to take away the sign because all we're representing is how far away from 0 it is. We're talking about the spaces.